Hello friends, how are you? Today is 13th March 2023. Of course 13 is unlucky number, but by God's grace I'm in good health and in good spirits. And today I'm going to talk about one of my favorite authors. He is an Ireland born author, and his name is John Millington Singh. Uh, Synge is pronounced as Sing. John Millington Singh or J.M. Singh. Now, John Millington Singh was born in 1871 on 16 16th April 1871. He was born in Dublin, in Ireland, and he died at the age of 38. At a very early, he had a sort of cancer, and he died at the age of 38 only. This man, he was a very talented man. He had a special liking for languages and for music also. Initially, he wanted to be a musician, and that's why he studied in the Royal Academy of Music, Dublin. But very soon he gave up his plan of becoming a musician, and he decided to devote his life to the service of literature. He wrote altogether 7 plays, some poems, critical essays, etc. But he is mainly known for his 7 plays, and of them, the most famous are these two: Riders to the Sea and The Playboy of the Western World. And he wrote both comedies and tragedies. But what makes him a very interesting man is that he had a very strange coincidence in his life. He learned German in Germany while he was staying in Germany. He went to Germany and he studied German. He went to Italy and learned Italian, studied very deeply with great passion. He went to Paris and he studied French also. And there he was settled towards the end of 19th century with the intention of writing, in French language. And fortunately for him, in 1894, W.B. Yeats, the great 20th century giant of English poetry, visited him at his Paris residence, and he gave him some very sound advice. W.B. Yeats told him that French was not his mother tongue, so he should abandon his plan of becoming a writer of a writer in French language. Instead, he should go to his motherland. He should visit the remotely situated Aran Islands that are located on the west coast of Ireland. There were three major islands located. There are still there. There are three islands. They are small islands located on the western coast of Ireland. And the strange thing about these islands is that they are constantly swept by strong wind, and the islanders towards the end of 19th century were more poor uh, even than the mainland of Ireland. The land was very poor. There were very fertile land was very rare there, and these islanders, the people of Aran Islands, they had to depend on the sea for their livelihood. The sea supplied them everything to sustain life. The main, source of livelihood was fishing. The young men used to go on narrow boats to fish in the deep sea, and the fish was very often very rough because the Atlantic Ocean, for the Atlantic Ocean, these Aran Islands were the natural breakwater. The high, the strong currents of Atlantic Ocean used to strike against these islands. They still do, and the water is somewhat, pacified. So, because of these conditions, very often the sea is very rough uh, on these western coast of these islands, and the seamen uh, lose their life while trying to earn their living. So the sea is the provider for them and also the cause of death for the islands. So that's why the title of the play is most famous play. One of the most famous plays, Riders to the Sea, is that they are like brave warriors, riders, you know, who go to battlefield of life. The battlefield is the sea, and there these riders lose their life. So James Singh is actually portraying the grim tragedy of the life of these brave people who were very straightforward, very hardworking, and unfortunately, the young would die and leave their things behind for the old men to enjoy. So this play has got mainly four characters, and the central character is an old woman, Moria, who has lost her uh, uh, five children. Recently, she has lost her son, Michael, and Michael had gone for fishing, and he is probably drowned. And Moria has brought the finest, wood from Connemara, from mainland, and the scene of the play is a kitchen, the kitchen of this poor fisherman family. And in this kitchen, when the curtain opens, one can see planks that are meant to be converted into coffin for Michael's dead body. Now Moria is going every now and then to the sea coast, and she is trying to find whether Michael's dead body has been washed ashore or not. Well, when the curtain opens, she is, somewhat taking rest. And meanwhile, the two daughters, Nora and Kathleen, one is 5 year old, the other is about 15. They are working, doing their household chores. Kathleen, the elder one is preparing, bread, preparing cake for Bartley, the last surviving son, the sixth son. And Bartley, is intending to go to the mainland to sell horses, a red mare and a grey pony. And the family needs money badly, and that's why Bartley is preparing to set sail to take the next boat and go to the mainland in the evening. So, in the afternoon, So, Moria doesn't want that her last son should go at that time because the sea is going to be rough. She feels that the sea is very soon going to be rough, and the journey will be very dangerous. So she wants to prevent Bartley from going, but Bartley, goes to the mail and goes out for his journey in spite of being, very uh, a strong request by his mother, in spite of the strong, words of his mother. uh, Bartley goes out of the house, and it was the custom among the islanders that any young man going on a journey has to be blessed. So when uh, Bartley goes out, Moria cannot bless because Amen stuck in her throat and she fails to bless her. So when Bartley goes out, and after he goes out, the sisters find out that uh, Bartley has forgotten to take his cake, his bread, so he would be in great trouble on a journey because he will be hungry because he had eaten nothing since morning. So these sisters give him the bread and wrapping in a something, and they ask Moria to go out and give the cake to him and bless him also. But when she comes back, she is very much shaken. She says that she has seen very frightening scene. She has seen a very frightful sight. Now these people are very superstitious also. These islanders were very superstitious. So she says when the sisters ask what she saw, she said that she saw Michael riding on the grey pony behind Bartley, who was riding on the red mare. So that symbolically means that Michael has come from the other world to claim to take away his younger brother with him. That is, Bartley also is going to die. And when Moria says this, they all start weeping. And towards the end of the play, it so happens that what Moria says becomes true. Bartley, while going uh, beside the tall cliffs of the seashore side is very high, and the grey pony knocks him down, and he falls from the great height from the seashore, and he is drowned in the sea before he starts his journey. And towards the end of the play, Bartley's dead body is brought by the villagers, and they start keening. Now these villagers, usually were very calm and quiet, but whenever they were confronted with death, all their suppressed agony, suppressed complaint against the fate would appear in the very heart-rending way of keening, the mourning for the day, the special way in which they would weep for a long time all together, all these women, by putting up their petticoat, part of their petticoat over their head, and they would all together, sitting in a big group, they would start weeping. So this play is somewhat elegiac in tone. Moria, just rises to great height when she says that no man can be living forever. So we should be satisfied because death is going to come sooner or later. So she has lost everybody: her husband, her 6 sons, and even her. The father of her husband was also drowned like the menfolk. Now there are very remarkable lines that are heart-rending. So when she is given the stick of Michael to go out, she says that in the outside world, uh, the old people die and leave their things behind for the young men. Here in the island, the things are reversed. It is the young ones who leave their things behind. They die while trying to earn their livelihood. They lose their life on the sea while trying to earn a livelihood by fishing. So this is a great tragedy, and it has the spirit of the great tragedies of the Greek masters of Aeschylus, Sophocles, and Euripides, who were writing in the 5th century BC. Tragedy was born in Greece in 5th century BC, and there are still 35 plays extant. We can still read 35 plays written by Aeschylus, Sophocles, and Euripides. These three men were the first tragedy writers of the world, and the spirit of the Greek tragedy is very much there, present there in this great one-act play. And Riders to the Sea is considered one of the best one-act tragedies ever written. So please read the Riders to the Sea. Or there is a film version. In 1935, a film was made, and some plays were also, staged. So Riders to the Sea is available in film form also. It's a great one-act tragedy, one of the greatest ever, very moving. It's sad in tone, but it's wonderful, and it is written in very good, simple language. Yeah, John Millington Synge had a ear for music, so he writes in a very simple musical language, easy language, and you can read this play, which consists of about 8 or 10 pages. So please read Riders to the Sea, because John Millington Synge is just a genius, just a master of tragedy, and he also was a master of comedy. His Playboy of the Western World is considered one of the masterpieces of comic writing. It is in 3 acts, written in 3 acts, but the Playboy of the Western World is also a great comedy, and it is one of the best comedies ever written. Thank you so much.